something different. Yeah, the wall. Yeah, I like that.
Look. It's taped up there to my wall. I didn't feel like doing my regular blue dining room wall. See?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I just thought
you change it up a little bit.
I wanted a little texture.
I'm about to change up my my paintings. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm about to change it up a little bit.
New paintings or move those around?
Well, I'm gonna move them. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely move them. We live in this junk now.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
Wait. Ding.
What you used to say? We are live.
We are live.
You remember all that, man? Yeah,
Okay.
we used to crack up when we was just coming in. It was like voila.
I do, but that ding is from Eddie Kane. Eddie Kane did that. Ding.
Yeah, you looking like Eddie King right now. So
I know, but I like it.
yeah, you straight.
Okay, thank you. It's a little cold. This was the wrong time to do it. It's a little cold.
No, it's all good. So it's all good. Hey, we live here, so we just casually talking right now, you guys. Welcome to the couch for all our newbies, old bees. This is the couch where your mental health matters. So can we talk for a minute? We're gonna do that.
I was gonna say, you mean where your mental health matters?
Yeah, you remember that? Does it really matter? Does it really matter?
It does matter. I'm so happy to be back.
Yeah, we here. What's going on, sis? My sister Candace is in the building. What's up, Paris? How you doing?
Candace.
Yeah, we about to have some good conversation. People come out the woodworks when we talking about relationships and anything that impacts relationships. So
hey,
I'm ready for this one right here. We're gonna talk about some toxicity, some self-sabotaging behaviors. What else?
Everything. Just different words for toxic.
Oh man, we about to get into it.
I think they're decorative words for
self-disclosure moments here.
Yep.
Get in our brain for a little bit. We normally get in other people's brains. But we're gonna let y'all get in ours a little bit. Ask some questions. Make sure y'all like and share this live feed. I want the comments. Let's make sure these comments are popping. Y'all talk to us. We talk to y'all. Y'all talk to each other. Y'all know how we do. If you've ever caught the couch 704 before, this is how we do it. We interact with each other. Let's make everybody better. And I got my road dog is in the building, Juicy J, aka Jackie. You know what it is. What's going on, Scrap? What's going on, man? I see you doing your thing over there.
First of all, how you gonna shout me out and I'm about to say something back to you and then you hollering at Scrap?
Go ahead, Jack. I'm sorry.
You done thrown Scrap into my whole intro. I just wanted to tell you I was happy. I'm always happy to see you and be back talking to you. This is our thing. So yeah. I missed you.
I missed you too, Jackie.
I know, I believe it.
Yes, that was very sincere right there. Like, I missed Jackie. We haven't done this since what? No, December?
I was wondering when's the last time. It's been recently, but not so recent.
Yeah, it's been about 2 months.
Okay.
But when we get that feeling, we let y'all have it. So we're about to have this conversation right here.
Yes, it was time.
So go ahead and put the kids to bed. Get your favorite beverage, your water, your Sprite, your cognac, your wine. Let's sit back and cut this up right here.
I've never heard someone call it cognac.
Cognac, bourbon, whiskey, whatever your flavor is.
Oh, Stephanie's here.
What's up, sis?
Hey, Steph.
Everybody coming in the building. So I want to talk about how did we get to this topic right here?
Well, all right. So I want everyone to know that I decided to do something very thoughtful this morning. And while I was in the midst of working, I thought to myself, I wonder what Damien is doing. And then I was like, I miss Damien. And then I thought, let me text him. And then I decided against that. And I said, no, he deserves to see my face. So I made a little video message requesting, I don't know what exactly I said, but I said, I miss you. I thought about you. And I would like us to do a show or something, but I don't really know what that would be about. I just feel like we need to do our thing.
Right. That's what
And
it
it was
was.
well received.
It was well received. You said you missed me, that you loved me, that you wanted my warm embrace, and all of those things.
I'm like, the I love you part. I was thinking, did I say that on the video? But
No, you didn't. But I already know it's all love over here. It's all
yes.
love for
I wasn't
everybody.
gonna.
Yes, we love each other, but we're not in a relationship.
Why you always say that?
Contrary to the popular belief, because it comes up every time. It comes up all the time.
Okay, all right.
But anyway, that she definitely did that, you guys. She sent me a video message. I felt very special this morning. So I was like, you know what? Yes, we should do a show. We should grace everyone with our presence, and have a conversation. And the topic came about because I was in my vibe. I was vibing to my R&B this morning. Music is my therapy. And I was listening to Usher. And we were talking about bad habits. So I was like, yo, that's a conversation. Because everybody, we all have our dysfunctions and things that we do to contribute to failed relationships. Not only romantic, but we're going to definitely touch on romantic. Mm-hmm. But, we have certain things about us that we contribute to failed relationships, whether we self-sabotage or sabotage a relationship. Overall, we got it. Everybody's been in a relationship before that failed.
Sometimes you self-sabotage and you don't know you're self-sabotaging.
Right.
And we need to get into that too. The idea of, just jot this down, Dane, because I know you've got your little list right there. We need to go back to your friendship circle and what your actions are when you notice your friend is self-sabotaging. Like, we all have that one friend who is always blaming their relationship fails on the other person, right. But you know good and damn well it's them causing the problem. And so we want to touch on that too.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, you guys, we're going to be talking about bad habits. What are yours? What are ours? We're going to talk about this as a family. So, you know what I'm saying? Like,
wait,
pick your feet up.
Grandpa's already putting his in there. He said indecisiveness. I appreciate that. So I want to know
right there.
I want to know what you mean by that, Scrap. What you mean by indecisiveness? Like, just type it down there, and I'll read it to Dame when we pause. But I want to know what you mean by indecisiveness, because I've actually heard this recently, like this week.
Oh wow!
From somebody, from a guy.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that one too. And some people contribute that to my zodiac sign because I'm a Libra. And so we like to stay balanced in a sense. So we don't want to choose sometimes. So that indecisiveness, I'm definitely with you on that one, Scrap, for sure.
You don't like to choose, meaning you like your options? You relish in your...
Yeah, there's a lot of ways that you can take that, Jackie.
I'm trying to understand.
I don't think that's what I was saying. I'm just saying, like, I'm very nonchalant in a sense, and I kind of go with the flow in a sense, sometimes to my own detriment. But yeah, I can be indecisive when it comes to, like, go ahead.
When it comes to
just certain aspects of me, I'm very direct. But certain aspects, when you're talking about relationships, it could be something as simple as, what do we want to eat for tonight? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be like, I'm good with whatever it is that you like. I could say that sometimes, more often than not, but something small like that. But I wouldn't say, like, in regards to just like relationships, whether I want to be with you or not, or whether I want to be with her, or that type thing. Nah.
Okay, that's what Scrap was saying. Okay. He defined it. He said he could have a good woman and then not be ready to decide on commitment. Right. Probably even when it's time, like when she is ready. Do you feel like some men hesitate to make the decision because it's intimidating or too in your face for the woman to say, I'm ready, now what? Like, do you think that's too pushy? Do you think some men think it's too pushy?
I don't necessarily think that it's too pushy. I think for men and the guys that's on this live right now, please feel free to chime in, because I'm only one man. I can't speak for the entire gender, but sometimes we may think of what we're losing in a sense, even if it's not a reality in a sense. We may feel like, okay, well, if I choose this particular person, then I'm losing out on this one or this one and the possibilities. But I think everybody kind of does that in a sense.
I don't.
You don't? So when you make a choice, if you got a couple of guys that you're
Dame,
seeing.
you know me. You know me. When I make a choice, I'm dating somebody one day and I come to you the next like, oh no, we're together.
Yeah, she's
Do
right,
I
y'all.
not? Come on,
She's
Dame.
right. She's very decisive. And
Yeah, when I
when she
want what
wants
I
to be in a
want is,
relationship, she gets into it. And when she wants to be
yeah,
out, she's out.
and it's
When she's
over.
out, she's out.
First of all,
Coming back.
no, I'm okay with that. Yeah, because some switch turns off, right? And
Right.
it just I have to literally remind myself,
Mm-hmm.
where are the bad things and the reasons I wanted to be out of this? And even
Right.
if I love the person and I miss them, I don't allow the missing to yank me back. I mean, that has happened before. And after a couple years, I had my own cycle where I was in a dating on and off situation with
Right.
somebody.
Right.
It just took me 3 years. And right at the 3-year mark, I was like, yo, it's not going to be 5 years. So that is done. I think it was one of those things where I was giving the person the opportunity to show me the difference. And when it became clear there was no difference, I mean, he honestly owned up to that at some point, like, hey,
Right.
I don't really think that I'm going to be changing this to the point where it's going to make you feel good.
Right.
And I said, appreciate that. And that was the end of it. But
Yeah.
when I'm dating two different people, when I decide on the one, you get the phone call, I'm like, yo, the boo. The rest go. I don't know the rest. I don't know what happened to them.
So when you're dating and you choose that person, you have no problem making that phone call and cutting it right then and there. You just straight to the point, like, hey, this is who I chose to be with. No, sorry if I hurt your feelings, but that's what it is. When you're dating, you're taking that risk in the sense of not being the one. Although you could be the one, but it's in a sense a risk that you're taking when you don't confess and say that what you want in a sense from that person.
This is very interesting, and we're still on topic. So we're still on topic.
Yeah.
But let me give you a scenario of something that caught me completely off guard. A dude's reaction to me saying I'm with somebody. Now I'm going to put this out there. I'm putting my business out there, okay? And I'm not bothered by it. Other women go through this.
Hold on, before you do it.
Okay.
Hey, you guys, make sure you like and share this. This is about to be a Joker moment. You know, like Fat Joe said, it's a Joker moment. It's about to be a Joker moment. You're just gonna put the J in front of the Oprah because it's Jackie. It's about to be a Joker moment.
I don't mind saying this at all. I don't mind saying this at all. So this is what happened. I had a homeboy. Come on, he's the homeboy. He's attractive. I've known him since I was in college. He had occasional business in Charlotte. Okay. So, it's that call. Like, you come to town, your homie who you dated in college where you're just cool, but it's the hangout friend that you're attracted to that flirts with you, and it's fun, right? So I had that going on with him on and off for a couple years. Dame, one time he came to visit, he hit me up. And I've known this guy since I was 18. So I started college at 17. I met him right after I turned 18. So listen, so he went to A&T. So listen, he goes, yeah, so can I come by your crib and kick it with you and whatever? And I was like, oh, absolutely not. I'm with somebody now. I had just got with a dude like a month earlier. And so he goes, what do you mean you're with somebody? And I said, what do you mean? What do I mean? I'm with somebody. And he goes, so? And I said, so when I'm with somebody, I'm not with anybody else. And it's very clear.
You cut it.
So that's going to be the end of that. But we're cool. But that's the end of that. So this is what he said to me. Dame, he was adamant about, well, why? And I don't care about that. And I'm just coming in town to hang out and all that. This went on for a few minutes. And I said, wait a minute. He's upset. So I said, are you serious right now? And he said, yeah, I mean, I've been here since you were 17 years old. This nigga coming out of nowhere. He's coming out of nowhere, want to be in a relationship. He done
slid in there. Yeah, he done slid up in there and snapped it away. So the anger came because his ego was bruised. He was like, yo, like, I've been there all this time. Like, what does this guy have that I don't have? That's
what he had.
Thing that we think about.
Okay, and I'm going back to scrap. What he had was decisiveness. Mm-hmm. Okay, so when he asked me, what's the deal with this? And I said, listen, yeah, he came out of nowhere, but he was very particular about what he wanted. And when his wants aligned with mine, it was easy. So that's done. And I was with that dude a year and a half. I mean, that lasted.
And that's a long time for you, Jack.
Don't do that, Damien. Don't do that. You don't know anybody else I've dated under 3 years. Everybody else I've described, it's been a 3 year, an 8 year. Yeah, don't do that. That was the shortest relationship, a year and a half.
I'm just blinking my eyes right now.
We will check. We will compare the notes when this is over.
Okay. All right. So going back, we appreciate that dialogue, Scrap. Thanks for kind of bringing that up, led to this conversation. We definitely want to set the stage to kind of outline what we're going to be talking about. So again, we're talking about bad habits, how you self-sabotage, in relationships. But first, in order to kind of have that dialogue, we kind of want to understand what it means to sabotage and where does that kind of come from? Where does that kind of derive from? So I wanted to kind of start with you, Jackie. When you think of sabotaging and the definition of it within relationships, what's kind of like your layman's definition for that, and how does it like come across in a sense?
To me, self-sabotage is either when you consciously or subconsciously get in your own way of the productiveness of the relationship or the next step of the relationship. Okay. So I believe I have a subconscious toxic trait and I have a conscious one.
Yes.
I think we all do. If you really think about it,
yes.
You've got one that you know about and one that you're not thinking about.
Absolutely.
Totally. And it may have been something someone has told you over the years, like a couple people have told you.
Right.
And you're like, yeah. And then you at some point you got to pay attention to it.
Exactly. Everybody can't be wrong. And you're right.
No, not everybody
can be wrong. So everybody that's catching this live right now, go ahead and jot in the comments what's one of your characteristics or traits that you would deem yourself to be sabotaging or self-sabotaging. What's one of those things that you own, that you're conscious of right now as we speak? How have you negatively influenced your relationships through the sabotage? And we're going to share. We're going to share. Everybody's going to be vulnerable tonight. We're going to let these things go. What you thinking, Jackie?
I'm listening. Look at what Scrap. First of all, we appreciate your participation. Scrap is carrying the combo.
Okay. Scrap said in the building.
Scrap said a fear of losing female friends for a committed relationship that may not work. Ooh.
Yes.
I feel that too.
One of my when I just read that, I'm thinking of when you're deciding to whether or not you're going to get into a relationship. I mean, for me, I can only speak for me. I'm thinking of one of my sabotaging traits. This is a truth moment here. The fear of, look at you, the fear of losing myself within that relationship. Ooh. Me, I'm an introvert in a sense, but no, I'll say I'm ambivert. So I like to meet new people. I like to talk. I like to converse. I have friends that are both male and female, probably even more female if I want to think about it. So when I get into a relationship, I don't want to feel like I have to end those relationships because I'm in this higher level relationship, if that makes any sense.
Okay. So this
kind of go ahead.
This is based on something you've actually experienced.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you have a fear of it now.
It's an anxiety for sure. Sometimes I work through it. Sometimes it comes up, like you said, subconsciously or unconsciously. Sometimes it's very consciously. So where I'm just like, I'm still going to maintain my relationships with these individuals because they add value to my life in whatever capacity. And just because I'm with you, and that kind of determines whether or not I continue that relationship. So if I know that it's not going anywhere, and that's one of those traits, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to put a sticky note right there. But if I know that it's not really going to that romantic level, then why do I necessarily need to change? In a sense.
Okay.
Because if they can't trust my relationships with those other individuals, and I'm being open and honest about those relationships, then why do I necessarily need to change? I just found myself changing subconsciously without them saying like, yo, I need for you to end those relationships. It was just like I was caring too much for their feelings where I was kind of disregarding mine.
Okay, we talked about this. Remember the relationship that I was in? Remember the
Yeah.
male friends?
Right.
And I
Right.
was like, bitch, my male friends kick rocks. I'm not bitching my damn friends. You know how many apartments they moved me in and out? Like, and
Yeah.
so I think my self-sabotaging behavior, this leads to my sabotaging behavior. Okay. I don't think it was wrong for this person to say certain interactions with your male friends, me not knowing them makes me uncomfortable. Right. But I had a fight or flight response
Mm-hmm.
to him voicing his needs.
Right.
My response was a fight response. And the fight was, no, hell no. Like you just, hell no. And so I wasn't willing to bend.
Okay.
Because you know what? My trauma with being in a past serious relationship where he wanted to cut me from all my friends,
Right.
I was like, yo, nobody will ever again have me cutting off people that are important to me. I don't care what gender they are.
Right.
And I
Right.
couldn't find a healthy way to have a balance. Instead, I made him feel like I didn't value his feelings.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
I resent that about myself. I wish that I had not sabotaged that area of the relationship because I did.
Mm. That's big. That's big for you to say that. I appreciate you sharing
I
that.
did.
It sounds like we're in group therapy right now. Appreciate
That's
you.
okay, honey. It's always that way with me and you.
Absolutely. So some of the
Okay.
things that we've gotten so far, Cynthia says trust. That's always a big one. That fear of, abandonment or losing that relationship, or them, of course, losing your trust in a sense, doing something to impact the relationship. And my
Dame.
girl Fire Red says
Okay.
she doesn't want to get hurt, so it's very hard for her to put her guard down. I can definitely see that, and again, it comes from past experiences. So anything that when we're talking about sabotaging, we're talking about bringing forward past hurt, and abandonment and treating everyone the same, and those emotional walls, that we do present based off of past trauma. We don't see it as trauma, but it really is trauma because it impacts you in your everyday life.
Okay. I want to disclose my subconscious toxic trait. So, y'all, I want to give example of what I've done subconsciously. I wasn't aware. I wasn't thinking about it, but I think it has happened over and over and over. And I'm just becoming very self-aware of a lot of these things in the last year or two. I think my subconscious toxic trait, just meaning that it works against me and the greater good. Okay.
Right.
Ultimately. And my most toxic subconscious trait would have to be I would say expecting me from people.
Ooh, yes, absolutely.
Okay. So when you expect yourself from people, you lose sight of the real value in their actions sometimes.
Right.
Meaning, sometimes us women are so fearful of being hurt that we protect ourselves and guard ourselves, that when we can finally let that down, we have expectations. We want to give more emotionally. We want to talk
Right.
more. And
Right.
when we don't feel the exact energy, on that level coming from the man, we have the tendency to either pull back completely or let him know in his face, this ain't working.
Right.
And sometimes I think we do it prematurely. I can do it prematurely because I've convinced myself at 6 weeks, you should be expressing yourself differently. You should be making it very clear that I'm the only person that you want to date. Like, honestly, I don't wait 6 weeks for that. Okay. I don't know.
6 weeks, Jackie. You and these numbers always get me, yo. Like,
Dame, I'm just telling you, I don't wait 6 weeks. Okay. Women talk about these things and I get it. Most men feel that way, right? But these women are lying if they're on the feed saying they don't have numbers in their heads. We talk to our girlfriends and the girlfriends are like, y'all been dating 3 weeks, right? Y'all been dating 6 weeks. That's 2 months. So I'm telling myself, now, wait a minute now.
A minute. I've been talking to Shorty for a minute. A minute.
Look,
a minute could be a minute could be 2 years. We just never know. Because I think for guys, we don't want to accept that accountability for that length of time, if it's been a long period of time, we don't want to accept that, that responsibility that comes with the length of time in a relationship where you haven't made a decision whether you want to make this, your main,
Okay.
like your joint or not.
Your main, like lobster, your main,
Your girl,
main,
wifey,
your main.
Mrs.
Oh, not the main, the
old lady,
only.
whatever the case may be, whatever you want to call it,
Dang.
your girlfriend, right? So, but as you were talking, I was thinking about my
subconscious trait.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
tell us.
I think it aligns more because it's become a part of me in a sense, and it's me being very nonchalant. So the persona, it's not even a persona. That's just a part of me now. I'm just very like laid back, chill. Whatever's gonna be. I'm not going to press because one, if I press and it doesn't work out, then I'm going to be hard on myself at the end of the day. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah.
if I don't have that level of expectation, I'm just like, whatever, I'm chill. Either you're going to be with me or you're not going to be with me. You're not going to hurt me. I can only hurt me. You can't hurt me. You see what I'm saying? So I think that could be considered toxic. Y'all let me know if that's toxic. Y'all let me know. What you think, Jackie?
It's toxic if it winds up appearing as a barrier to future progression. I'm using my words wisely. On the heels of what you're saying, of course, while you're talking, I'm now having thoughts ignited, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of us women, our toxic trait is that we hear a man say something and we want it to be different. So we wait for it to become different. And then a year in, it has never been different. And then we're mad at him.
Right. Jackie, I literally just had this conversation maybe a week ago. And because I'm pretty straightforward in a sense, like, I've told you this like weeks, months, whatever, and you hoping that it change, that's on you. That's not on me. If I said like I'm just in this space and this is where I am, it doesn't matter necessarily what you do. I don't care if it's something freaky that you can do. It doesn't matter. However you are, how pretty you are, your personality, those things are not going to necessarily change me and where I'm at.
Okay.
So when you said that triggered that whole conversation back.
No, let me be clear. This is a full look. Dave and I walked into this conversation knowing there was going to be full disclosure. And then we discussed beforehand how much full disclosure we were going to get into. But the reality is I'm not interested in holding it back because this is going to help somebody, right? This is a whole work. Absolutely. So my last situation with the last person that I cared a lot about, when I started dating him, he was literally courting me. Like he was courting me the way your parents, wanted a man to court you, right? Mm-hmm. And so I loved it. Right. And then like 3 months in, when I was like, what are we doing? He's like, do you remember when I told you in the beginning, like the second time we went out, that I wasn't interested in a committed relationship? And I'm like, I heard it, but
you thought because your name is Jackie, you Juicy J, you was gonna be able to change his mind. You was gonna put that whip girl on him, and that was gonna change his mind.
Yeah, and I'm like, I thought you were talking about people before me and what you were thinking before you met me, and then we're talking, and now we're together. Like, I don't know how to do. So he said, "Remember what I told you?" And I was like, "Yeah." So then, 6 months, and I was waiting, like, nah, after 6 months, nah. And so 6 months, I started the conversation, and at the 6 months conversation, I knew that was my toxic trait. I ignored it. What I should have done is pulled away when I knew that I didn't have the emotional bandwidth to get to know a person and become attached to a person who would never go above a certain level with me. Right. And that was my fault. I still look at it as my fault. He did nothing wrong. He was very honest about, I want one person that I can be with and like have a very good friendship with, but I'm not interested in commitment. And I'm like, yeah, right. you will be. Don't worry. Like that's like everybody that dates me will eventually commit to me. So
They say that,
but that was my pattern.
Right.
But Dame, that's part of the toxic trait. I expected myself from people, so I noticed that very early on. I would make it very clear, like, yo, I just want to be with one person. So another part of my subconscious toxic trait is that I tell people what I want from them so quickly that they don't have room to show me who they are. You see, if you tell people who you are so quickly and repetitively, you literally give people the blueprint just to follow the design that you lay out, instead of you taking the time to figure out who you're with. Like, who is this person? So I'm aware now. I'm seeing everything now.
So let's talk about some other signs of self-sabotaging in relationships. Some of the ones like you start fights for no reason. Right?
Oh, that's real sabotaging. Yeah.
Hypercritical of your partner. I've experienced that. I probably personally did it myself.
So you were hypercritical when you knew you kind of wanted things to be over?
Yeah.
Were you in a headspace?
Yeah. In comparison to what I visualized my relationship to be, what I needed in order to be happy. And so the things that were not happening, I was hypercritical on that. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like I'm communicating, but I'm not communicating. Like if I said, and this is just for an example, you guys, like if I said, hey, I like someone that's going to cook every night, which I know that's not going to happen. So y'all don't jump on me talking about who the hell are you to say that you want a home cooked meal every night? That's just an example. But I'm just saying like something that simple.
He said, who the hell are you?
You only cook 3 days out this week. Like, nah, I got to end this right here. This ain't going to work. Like hypercritical in those senses, like just the minute things when I didn't have the or the communication skills in order to say, you know what, this isn't working without giving an explanation sometimes. Every time I felt like I needed to give an explanation as to why something isn't working, rather than saying, for me, it's not working. I know what it is that I want in a sense, and being able to communicate that.
You just triggered another toxic trait that I think women have.
I'm sure.
I'm going in on my gender today. I mean, we do it. We do it.
You guys, and this is old Damien. We're talking about old Damien. You're looking at a more refined, hopefully, Damien these days.
Women, we also have, okay, this came up in conversation today. Women have a toxic trait of accepting behavior that's beneath their own expectations and standards for relationships in order to preserve whatever is left between them and the man. Example, the man says, I'm not ready for commitment right now. And the woman continues to allow consecutive and consistent access to herself. So what it does is it plays on her emotions, right? Because she convinces herself there's a teetering of behavior, when in reality, your toxicity, you have ignored what is vital, which is him saying no. And sometimes we have to, women, our egos are up here too, because sometimes we don't allow ourselves to think he's saying no to us, right? But in reality, I now say confusion equals no.
I like that.
Confusion is no. I tell my clients this. If somebody's in between about you, like, I like you, but I'm not ready for commitment, and you feel like it's been 6 months and that's long enough, then you have to make the decision to then tell yourself that means no. And it's okay to tell that person, I'm going to take this as a no, because that's what it feels like after I express my feelings. And that's okay for it to be a no, but I'm going to walk away from this.
Right. Now, give me some feedback, and I want you guys to give me some feedback on this as well. In these particular situations, when we're talking about self-sabotaging, where it doesn't really come off as being negative, because you have these situations to where let's just say if I'm interested in someone, but in your situation, I'm not ready to be in a relationship, but we're doing relationship things, right? Or you can feel the emotion. You know, you're intimate, and it's not a wham bam, thank you, ma'am. It's very intimate. It's very sensual. It's love making, but outside of that, it's like I'm hands off. So it's like we're doing the things that would be relationship worthy, but without the title. Do you feel like that's sabotaging the relationship to kind of like when you get these things, because again it's confusion, right? So I'm giving you all these things that you're requesting, I'm being attentive, we're communicating, we're doing the date nights, we're spending time, we're addressing both love languages, each other's love languages, all these different things. But when we start to talk about title, it's like, nah, I told you, like I wasn't ready for a relationship.
So you're saying, is he then sabotaging?
Yes. That's
Um,
for sure. I think that can be definitely toxic. What you guys
it's toxic, but I don't think the man thinks of it as sabotage. I think he thinks of it as that's what he wants it to be. But I will say, I don't think it's toxic unless it's harming you emotionally, right? So let me be clear.
would it not be harming you if you're
Not
the woman?
necessarily. No, I'm about to clean
Okay.
that idea up right now in my
Okay.
head, because I can see a man and do all those things with him, right? As
Right.
long as my expectation of him remains, I just expect him to be who he is, which is this,
Mm-hmm.
I'm healthy.
Right.
When my expectation in my own head starts to change, like, oh, we're spending a lot of time together. He might see me as somebody he loves, even though he hasn't said it. He might, blah, blah, blah. When I start to lose peace of mind,
Mm-hmm.
it's toxic.
Right.
But yeah, dang, I can see a dude, and if he wants to be one of those guys that does all the boyfriend things, and he stimulates me in those ways, and he
Right.
satisfies those needs, I'm okay with that. And dating other people.
Okay.
If we're not together and we are dating other people, yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. If I've accepted that that's what's going to happen, it's when we women have not gotten to the place of accepting it yet that it is
Mm-hmm.
toxic. When you're talking to your friends about how sweet he is and how he does this and that for you, baby, this is what he told you he wanted.
Right.
He wants it to look like this. And
So
then he wants to, yeah.
so to clearly say what, just to kind of summarize what you're saying, being toxic or sometimes even sabotaging may not always be just a negative thing. It's not a negative attitude or anything like well, it could be intentional, but it's not negative. Like the person doesn't have an attitude or is not being a narcissist or anything like that. It's just he's giving you what he feels like you need. You see what I'm saying? Without that other part of it, the commitment or the label or the title. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because some of these dudes, I don't want commitment from them because I've seen their damn habits. And I don't want to get myself tied in another commitment where, you have some habits that I'd rather leave under the table. So
Right.
I can if I'm getting 75% of the needs satisfied from one person all the time, and I'm dating other people. And when I say needs, I mean emotional needs. It's smart. Men have been doing it forever. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're here and there until you decide the one that you want to keep and the one that you want to be with. But women have a harder time, okay? Because women, no matter what they say, most women just want to be with one person.
I agree.
No matter what they tell you, they're okay with. Okay. So I think there's a hope there that becomes toxic. We hope your mind will change after 6 months.
Is it toxic when he's saying these particular things, or I'll say we, and we give it to you so, no, I'm not even gonna say it that way.
Give what? What are we giving, gifts?
No, intimacy wise, sex wise, he's hitting all the numbers and everything to where you're getting to a point to where it's like this is the best you've ever had because he's physically attentive, emotionally attentive, all those things that you would want in that setting. For some reason, like that communication, that sensual communication often gets misconstrued when you're outside the bed. So it's like if he's giving it to you like that, he must love you. He must want this.
Mm-hmm.
But then when we step out of the bed, it's like, nah, like I told you, I didn't want a
Yeah,
relationship.
I don't believe that. I don't mix the two. I believe what he says. I
Okay.
believe what he says. And I believe he means what he says. And those are disclaimers. The smart men know to say that up front. They say it up front so that they can go back to it and say, but I told you in the beginning. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's smart and it's fair for everyone. Now, if the woman don't want to listen, she just don't want to listen. But I'm telling you, I'll never find myself in another situation like that, ever. Because now I don't have a subconscious toxic trait like that. I'm very
Right.
aware that I have to state my purpose up
Right.
front. Yo, like I am a monogamous person. I prefer monogamy. I want to get to know someone.
Right.
And then you date other people, and you need to assume I'm dating other people until we come together and have a serious conversation about it's just the two of us.
Right.
Because I tell whoever I date that now. If we've gone on 2 dates, I'm like, yo, I assume you date other women, even if you say something else, right? Like until
Right.
we have a conversation where we're together and that's it, I assume whatever you're doing on the downtime, you with somebody else.
That's all. That's always been my assumption. Until we have that conversation, I assume that you're dating other people. I may not be. I may be. It's still up in the air. But
Okay.
until we have that conversation, it is what it is. All right. So moving on. What can we do to kind of catch ourselves, or ways to stop self-sabotaging in our relationships? What can
You
we
can go
do?
to therapy.
That's first and foremost. First
First
and
and
foremost.
foremost, you can go to therapy. Listen, dang, this is so real. So I was talking to my therapist. We know who she is.
Yeah.
Hey,
Shout
Taya.
out. Shout out. Plug.
Taya.
Plug.
I was talking to my therapist and I was describing weeks ago, describing somebody I liked. And maybe 2 dates, right? And I'm like, well, I kind of like him. He's cool.
Uh-huh.
And I asked him this, and this is the response he gave me. And she said, Jackie, are you happy with that level of communication? And I said, no, but he did let me know that when he gets frustrated with stress at work, he pulls back all the way. And,
Right.
I may not talk to him for a few days. And she goes, Jackie, those are traits of the last two boyfriends you had.
Mm.
And I said, what? I said, I know that's true. And she goes, okay. So she said, are you willing to open your heart again to a third situation where you are going through you're ultimately signing up for the same heartache again, because you are now aligned with another person who you will begin to care for, and they will not be able to express the same level of care and concern towards you.
Right.
And they will pull back from you for days at a time. Do you
Right.
want that? And I was like, bitch, I'm like,
Stop
you
reading
don't
me
know me.
like that.
I know. I was like, you don't know me. And so I said, no. And then I let it go. I
So,
did. I had
what
to.
I'm saying, you guys, is
Mhm.
stop entering in relationships that you know are going to be doomed.
It's a setup.
You shouldn't be pursuing every relationship that comes your way. Just because you're alone doesn't mean that you're lonely. So
Solitude.
stop trying to enter in all these relationships just because you by yourself. Not everybody's supposed to be up here. Some people are supposed to be platonic. Some people are supposed to be intimate. You can have an intimate connection. It don't have to be sexual. It don't have to be romantic. Not everybody gets to the top floor. So stop entering in these relationships where you know the person ain't shit. They may got some good sex, or they got some money they can
Oh
throw.
my God, is my son asleep? Can he hear me? Can you hear it? I left the door open.
So I was reading.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm saying that, and then as I'm saying that, then Miss Wanda Jefferson Green asks, "What's the purpose of being in a relationship?" That is a really good. What's your purpose for seeking out this particular person or engaging with this person? How do they add value to your life? Is it because the sex is good? That's a value. Is that the only value that you want in a romantic relationship? Probably not. So stop entering in these relationships just because you want to be in a relationship. Like straight up. Like that's real shit. That's not therapist Damien.
Thank
What
you,
else?
Dave.
What else can we do, Jackie, to stop this self-sabotaging?
You know, you can take more time to process and move slower. So move slower can mean something different to every person. I had to learn to stop projecting my own expectations onto situations.
Right.
And literally deal with each individual situation one at a time for what was in front of me.
Absolutely.
And so I think it's important to literally assess and evaluate where the last 3 went wrong and what you did to bring it to the bad place. Because it's too easy to always look at what the other person has contributed. Like for me, my expectations were so high, my anxiety about where things were going made other people anxious.
Right.
And some people don't deal well with that type of stress. They pull from it.
Yeah.
And so I'm very aware of that. And I think we need to assess. What you looking like that for?
No, I'm listening. I'm listening.
I stress you out so you pull away from me. First of all,
no, Jackie.
I'm just saying, you making the faces.
That's self-sabotaging right there. You self-sabotaging
it is. It's projecting.
Yes.
So I don't want to do that. But yeah, I believe that we need to literally assess and think about, the last couple of situations, the way they ended. How was I the one that wound up with my feelings hurt? Like, what did I do and what could I have done to prevent it? And so now that I'm looking at that, I actually, a lot of women also have a toxic trait where we don't tell someone what we want up front because we're afraid of how the man's going to be affected by it. We're afraid of how he's going to respond. So we're not honest about what we really want because we don't want to scare him away.
Yeah.
And I'm over that now. I don't do that anymore. And fortunately, when I get to know people now, I'm very clear up front on this is, I need to see somebody, within this period of time, it makes sense to me. And then when it gets to be too much space in between, I'm uncomfortable with that. And I just have to find somebody that aligns with that.
Right.
And there are people out there that will align with your process and what you need.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so I like talking about that up front. Yeah, I don't want to wait 3 months to find out that you pull back for 4 days. Like, no, you tell me this shit in the first 2 weeks so I can make a decision, a simple decision.
So I would definitely say, and it goes along the lines of what you said initially as far as going to therapy. Like, we laughed about it, but like, that's straight up. Like, you have to learn to love yourself before you can love anyone else and understand your own traits and the things that you struggle with, your dysfunctions, so self-love, loving yourself, but also at the same time, if you're in a relationship, stop thinking of yourself or what you may be gaining or losing in that relationship, but being able to work with your partner in order to make both of you guys great. So it's not a individualized thing when you're talking about a partnership, but when you're single and you're looking for love, make sure you find it within yourself first. I think I put that on my story this morning. Just make sure you do that work first before you start to engage. Start bringing your toxic traits into other people's lives.
Dame, I met a dude recently who told me verbatim, I asked him what goes wrong with dating. And we were talking and he said, well, honestly, men use I'm busy as a way to end things slowly. And if I'm saying I'm busy a lot, it doesn't really mean that I'm really that busy. It just means I'm busy doing things I'd rather be doing. And so I said, thank you for telling me. And he just kept on talking. So the next thing he said, well, men lie a lot. And I said, oh, really? And I said, what kind of things do you lie about? And he said, well, we lie about being busy and we lie about our feelings. I said, okay, what do you mean lie about feelings? What would you do or say when a woman asks you how you feel? And he said, well, mainly we'll say, I don't know, if we don't want to hurt her feelings or we don't want to disclose information. I said, oh, okay. 2 days later, I asked him something. He said, I don't know. But not about feelings. I was just like, what do you think about something, right? And so he was like, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, really?
Right.
or is it a lie? And we laughed about it. But
Yeah.
I appreciate that's the kind of level of honesty I'm looking for just in dating and getting to know somebody.
Right.
Because if we can't have these conversations, I don't think it's going to be on the level that I'm looking for.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and sometimes you have to be okay with, you know, people don't take the time to actually get to know the person. You know, like some of the faces or some of the characteristics that we have, they don't come out immediately. You know, for example, I I like my time, my alone time. So even if I said I'm busy, it could be that I'm busy working on me. Or I'm taking, self care. I may not disclose, hey, this is Dame's self care day. Like I may not respond to you, or we may not be able to converse as freely as we would normally do because I'm tending to myself. It may be I'm busy today. Like that's just what it is. But you don't really get to know that until it happens. Somebody brought that to my attention. It was like, damn, like when you check out and you say you're doing for yourself, like you really do that. Because I won't respond. I won't
But
respond to
also,
a text message
Dame,
or
if you were seeing a woman that you really cared for, you would consider condensing some of that, wouldn't you? And spending time with her if that was a need of hers. If she said, "Hey, I get that you like to," if she honored your time, right?
Mhm.
Wouldn't that make you feel more inclined to carve out time here and there for her?
Absolutely.
Okay, and I
Absolutely.
think
But
that's what.
but again, it's a conversation and being able to be transparent in what that is, what it looks like. Because I can say it, but until you actually experience it, you don't believe that is real. You see what I'm saying? Like, and it don't be like a whole week. It may just be a day. You see what I'm saying? But I'll let you know, like, hey, like, I like to take. I'm an introvert, so that's how I get my energy back, being by myself. Some people who are toxic or may have been hurt in the past, women wise, they may say, well, he must be with another chick, or he must be laid up with another chick or something. No, it could be strictly just me, just doing whatever it is that I want to do.
Yeah, that
So but being able to kind of communicate that, of course, I totally agree with you on that.
some men have okay, we're almost at time, but some
Yeah.
men have a toxic trait of also not being honest with the women about what they want from the situation.
Hmm.
And I'm really tired of seeing this play out over and over
Yeah.
again when the man wasn't just honest up front. I've been in situations where somebody later told me, like after the fact,
Yeah.
I don't want to just be with one person. I love you, but I want to be able to see other women. Like, it's like it took you 2 years in cheating to tell me that. Like, why didn't you tell me
After a
this when we
while,
were
the
on
behavior speaks for itself, right?
why didn't you tell me this when we were on good terms? Like, because you were scared of my response. A lot of men,
Right. Right.
they are really fearful of a woman's response and they don't want to be cut off from that woman. So what they do is, honestly, they say whatever to appease her need at the moment.
Mhm.
And, the man gets reminded of that over and over again. And he continues to be quiet about what his real desire is, whether it's to be with other women or to never have the level of which she's looking for. And
Yeah.
that is completely toxic because everybody winds up shitted on. Everybody.
Yeah.
Like it just winds up as a jacked up situation.
Right. So, for you guys, just be honest, because more often than not, hell, they might want the same thing.
There's some people out there that want what you want. So I'm
Yeah.
learning that every guy that I meet that I go on 1 or 2 dates with, or
Mhm.
three, is not, you can sever that at any time. I
Right.
don't have to
Right.
feel locked in.
Right.
And I think I used to operate like that. Like, all right, now that this has been a process, it's going to continue. Like,
Hmm.
no, if it doesn't, do what feels good until it doesn't feel good. And then the
Yeah.
moment it doesn't, stop it.
Yeah. Stop it. And we've been having questions and comments throughout this entire live. I appreciate you guys' interaction this evening. Miss Jefferson Green says, "How many men do we know that are going to therapy?" Me being a therapist, I can say it's definitely increased over the last several years. I see a lot of men, more men than women actually. So it's not a woman thing anymore. So yeah, just to respond to that. I just wanted to respond to that. I have to stand up for the guys. We are some of us are doing the work,
Mm-hmm.
whether voluntarily or involuntarily. We're doing the
Mm-hmm.
work. You see what I'm saying? Whether it's trying to save your relationship, whether you're forced to go to anger management, whatever the case may be.
Not forced.
But I'm saying, like, all the years I've been in this field, like 2020 has, like, it's been exponential as far as especially black men, addressing these generational issues that we don't express. So as we're stepping into therapy and becoming more emotionally intelligent, hopefully that helps us communicate better and have better relationships overall. You got to end with that. You know what I'm saying?
We need to continue this. We should do like a part 2 of this later. Because this is just, I just find that more often than not now, a man seems to be looking for the comfort of a woman who will treat him like a boyfriend, but he doesn't want the stress tied with commitment. I'm looking at the fact it seems so common, like it's just everywhere, and it has turned a lot of women off to wanting to date. We're just becoming more and more derailed from the idea of, there's happiness here with monogamy, because, and I don't know if it's because women have accepted it for what it is or not, but even if we accept it, a lot of men are just going to cheat because they want to be with other women. So the reality is, what's left. And it just doesn't look too good out here. Like, dating is a sport. It's a sport. And like, it's like a race.
I don't like it.
Yeah, it's draining. It turns me off to wanting to get to know people. But I'm gonna say this about me to end that conversation. I have never had a fear of getting to know people for concern of what they're gonna do to me, like how they're gonna hurt me. I would have to say that confidently walking into this statement, I always give the new person a fresh chance.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about me. That's the trait that I like, that my energy is always refreshed. Like, when there's a new dude, I'm like, David, no, it's a new dude. Like, no, we ain't on the old dude, no, we ain't on the new dude. Like, I mean, when it's the new one's turn, I don't have to hold the bad stuff from the last one against him. I just start with the new one, and now when he messes it up, that's on him. Right. And then a month later, when I talk to you, there's a new one. But I don't have a problem with that. It works for me, and I'm happy about it, that I'm able to release that, because I don't carry that around like baggage.
Yeah. No, I think it's time. So when you're able to, like you said earlier, catch it early, ask those questions, have those conversations early, you avoid becoming emotionally invested, because the more invested you become, the more difficult it is for you to sever that relationship. So, and that's what we have struggles with, as far as being able to communicate your needs and your wants, and being able to have those conversations early and often. You know what? I thought the screen was just frozen, like you was not moving.
I was reading the comments on the page.
But have those conversations early. Don't expect you out of someone else. That's what I definitely gather. That's one of those key points. Don't expect you from someone else. Have those conversations early and often in that dating phase, what it is that you truly want. But until you know yourself, you don't know what you truly, truly want. So get to know yourself first. Self-love.
That'll lead us into the second segment of this, which will ultimately cover porn.
We're talking about self-love, aka masturbation. How to love on yourself and enjoy it.
AKA masturbation. It's always a good point to end on. I'm glad that we did this. I mean, it was an important conversation. In fact, this is so random, but as a clinician, are you planning to get your vaccine?
As of right now, no.
Okay. I was just curious.
There's a reason behind that, but not what you're thinking. But
I don't know what I'm thinking.
I think I have like that special like O negative blood.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm just curious because I
You
just
got
got
it?
mine.
You hurting?
Yeah, I'm hurting.
You passed out?
No. Why black people always do that? You hurt, you passed out. Did somebody stab you? Like, no, my arm hurts. It's sore.
Yeah.
But I wanted to share that because that's my
Yeah.
way of,
Well,
being a part of this process that everybody's going through right now. And I want to talk about the fact that I got it. But when you do want to get it, text me and I'll give you the information of how I set up my appointment very quickly. Because a lot of people are having issues with that. If you do want it, just let me know later.
until they say, damn, you can't do nothing, you can't live in the United States without it, I'll probably end up moving. But, if I have to stay here, then I'll probably get it then. Yeah.
As long as you know your reasons, it's all good, buddy. I just won't see you.
You gonna give me a hug, Jackie?
Look, there's going to be a fine line between those who are vaccinated and those who are not. No, I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I do it my job. Like,
yeah,
I still see people here and there, and then like my kid having medical issues. Like, it's something that I'm taking one for the team. That's how I feel.
Right. I definitely understand that.
As a parent, I feel like it's my part with him.
Kudos.
But yeah, anyway, hun, when you're ready to do this again, let me know.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about porn, you guys.
Are we?
Some questions. We're talking about self-love.
Okay. I'll be ready.
Juicy J will be in the building, you guys. Not Jackie. Juicy J.
Somebody saw that on one of your old posts and like texted me that out the blue the other day, like, "Hey, Juicy," and I'm like,
I think I know who you're talking about because I think he liked it or something like that, so it brought it back up. I got the notification. It was a like. It was like a 2-year-old video or something like that. But it was the porn one. It was the porn one. Yeah.
Well, anyway, it was nice to see you. I'm glad we did this.
Absolutely, you guys. Thank you, Jackie, coming on. Great conversation as always. A great conversation, great time. And we get to sip a little bit. That gives me a reason to drink some.
This is green tea. It was. I'm trying to detox from alcohol for a couple weeks.
Good for you.
Yeah, this is week 2.
Oh, it's week 2? Sheesh.
I'm going to try to do, that's a lie. I was going to say, I'm trying to do February. That's a lie. That's a dirty lie. I'm going to do this week. After this week, I'm done.
Right.
I'm just doing it for a couple of weeks to see if there's a change in mood or, irritability or, see if the little wine I'm drinking is affecting, my mood. Yeah.
I get it.
Okay.
We get it. All right, you guys, we're going to check y'all. Stay tuned for the next one. I got that Crown Apple detail. You know that's always on deck. But anyway, we're going to check you guys next time. Just stay tuned. Y'all see the post when it comes up. Make sure y'all come and join in the conversation, man. If y'all got any questions, suggestions, things y'all want to talk about, feel free to hit us up. All right? We're going to holler at y'all. Peace. Like Pam on Martin. Peace.